6:30, and it drizzled for just a minute, but then it was fine once we got out there.
Fine in the sense that the weather got better, but not that you saw any animals to shoot.
Correct. I told him to call me if the shoot was on, and I sounded like a real
Yeah,
know what I'm talking about. Yeah. Hey, call me if the shoot's on.
Oh yeah, will do. And he probably hung up. Was like, what did he mean? The shoot is on.
What does that mean? Did he say if my shoes are on?
Are we shooting a video? Is that what he must have meant? A video that we're shooting.
Did he mean the heat? Like the heat is on? Banana, banana. What is this podcast going to be about?
All right, welcome to the Camo and Hooks podcast. This is Mike.
And this is Luke.
So, Luke, as aforementioned, has been looking for dove in all, I would say, the right places, though.
That's true, yeah.
But they ain't flying, man. This is a Texas thing right now.
What the hell, dude?
I do know, but at the same time, I don't know. It's one of those things. I read enough. I'm well established that I'm going to be the guy that I'll go out there with book knowledge and be happy with it. And look, I mean, the conventional wisdom here is that you need the weather to cool down for the mourning doves to start migrating south. And,
right.
We're right on the edge of where you see a big mourning dove, not vibration, but migration. Maybe they vibrate when they make the sound. Maybe they vibrate.
That's a vibration.
It is.
It's a vocal cord thing.
So we're right on the cusp, and we normally get great dove action. It's just it stayed so hot for so long.
Right. And it's still warm up north.
It is. That's true. It's a good point.
We needed to get cold up north to push them down south.
Yes, and it's hot everywhere right now.
Yeah.
Everywhere that I'm talking to people across the country, it's there's just miserable heat. So it's almost as if the climate is changing. Isn't that weird? There's a...
I saw it coming.
Yeah. It's
I knew you were gonna say
it's like there's a change in the climate. You know, if it's like you have a temperature on a globe, but
right.
the temperature goes up, so it's like the globe is warming. Yeah, I don't know how. There's probably some better explanation out there. Maybe
I haven't heard anything about this.
Okay, yeah, maybe there's probably some quack scientist out there that's got some theory,
probably,
on what's going on. But again, I'm sure we can joke and everything, but I'm sure there are plenty of experienced dove hunters that have experienced opening days that are just for a long time.
Well, also this rain.
Yeah, it doesn't help.
It's been raining since September 1st.
Right, and hot, raining and hot. Since September 1st. That's true.
Well, it's really not. I mean, it's in the 80s.
Yeah.
Which for us is glorious if it wasn't also 137% humidity.
Yeah. I mean, it would be scarf weather for us in South Texas otherwise. We'd be fine with that.
Right now, I wouldn't say it's hot outside. I would say it's sweaty outside.
Mm-hmm. It is sweaty. You walk.
How's the weather? Sweaty.
Yeah. Your running speed is decreased by the moisture in the air. You can, if we were runners.
If one was to run.
If something chased me, I would feel compelled.
I'd just give up.
Yeah, all right, you know what?
It's fine.
Cycle of life, right?
Yeah. Well, I got mine.
It's my turn to be the prey. But yeah, but conventional wisdom, yes, I get it. But at the same time, you feel like there's doves everywhere. You see them everywhere. You see them all. I
was fishing yesterday morning, and I watched 2 dove fly across the lake.
Yeah.
And I was furious.
Yeah. You try to cast a line at them, maybe you catch them that way.
Is that legal? I don't know.
If you did it, I don't know that anybody would be mad.
Game warden would be like, "You did what?" Well, hell, you can have it. Yes. Way to go.
That's yours, buddy. Get video next time. Yeah, same around my house. They're just constantly flying around. So they're here, but I guess it's just they're not moving in the numbers that you'd expect, and there's not big flocks of them. I mean, yeah, I've seen doves, and I've unsuccessfully shot at a couple.
Sure.
So far, it's just there's not.
The sky's not black with doves,
yes,
like you always hear about. September 1st, the sky was black with doves.
Right? Yeah, it's not. There's no Hitchcock vibe to the whole thing at all.
Right.
Yeah, and it's weird because I haven't shot any clays or I haven't done anything. I haven't done any sort of sport shooting at all. I haven't done any wing shooting, and I'm dealing.
Same here. We're well prepared.
Yeah, really well prepared. And I'll see like the single dove, and I'm shooting so badly. Like there's one that I scared up out of a sunflower field just because it was the only one that we saw, and I had just a textbook rising up shot, like he's just rising straight up out of the sunflowers, probably about 30 yards, something like that, and just blam, 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 and the first one, like as soon as I brought it to my cheek. Of course, I brought my cheek all the way down to the gun, like cocked my head sideways, my cheekbone slammed against the buttstock. I can't see a bead at all because I'm completely offline. Like, what am I doing? Like, why did I even shoot? But usually when you have a sky that's black with doves or gray or brownish gray with doves, you can shoot your way out of that a little bit. You can, the jitters, the first weird, like, oh, I got to pull my gun up, like that goes away, and you have plenty of targets, you have plenty of opportunity. But right now it's like, you better get that one.
Right.
That's all you got. You got one, right?
I got one.
Hey, look at you.
Yeah, it was like the third or fourth time I had sat out at my mom's place.
Yeah.
I walk out the back door and 3 dove fly off of the driveway. It's like, you gotta be kidding me. So I loaded up and I turned the corner and one of them had flown up and just kind of landed further down the driveway around the corner.
Right, not particularly worried about you.
Right. Well, statistically speaking, he was fine.
He's good, yeah.
But I turned the corner and he's there, and I was like, well, and I took a step and he went up, and I mean, it was just right there for the taking.
Yeah.
But I had another one who was sitting in a tree, probably 40 yards away, which is maybe just beyond the
your
reach
comfort level,
of my 20 gauge. But he flew down and parked himself on a limb right there in front of me. And I was like, well, all right. So I lifted my gun and I took a shot. Pow! I watch a bunch of leaves fall. Bird flies away. Wind's blowing in my face, and 2 feathers just kind of like American Beauty style just kind of float right at me.
Right.
And I was like, what?
How do I?
What? And then there was another one because I was changing cards in the trail cams at the feeder.
Yeah.
So I was like, might as well take the shotgun and see if any dove are coming to get the corn and stuff. I had another one buzz me like the tower in Top Gun. And I just, I mean, he was right in front of me, and I just didn't get it.
Asshole.
Pretty much. Yeah. Like, all right, well, okay.
Hey, they know who's in charge out there.
But I've got one, and I plucked it whole and gutted it out and vacuum sealed it, and it is waiting in my freezer for more dove.
For the party, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, man, and
I've got it all planned out, man.
Oh, let's hear it.
I'm gonna brush them with butter. Mm-hmm. And I'm gonna start them in the super hot oven in the cast iron, right? Like 500 degrees, and then turn the heat down just long enough just to cook them, right? Just to get them crispy on the outside. Then I'm going to baste them with a blackberry bourbon glaze.
Oh my goodness! Come on now.
And serve them whole.
Didn't you do that? You've done that blackberry bourbon glaze before on something, haven't you?
No, I don't think so. No, I've done a bourbon blueberry barbecue sauce.
Bourbon. Thank God we have pop screens on these microphones, by the way, because that is. Okay, so how many birds do you want to get before you really start?
100.
100 birds.
No, I think it depends on what the function is and how many people are there. Worst case scenario, I'm just gonna do that one and sit down and just on a white plate and just eat it. Just the one bird.
That seems so provincial and quaint. Like you're just a quaint village, a man of the village. Like, oh, today I had dove.
Or I'm like, I'm the guy who lives outside the village. Like, and that was I went out and got me a dove and just ate the one dove.
Yeah. Father Luke got a dove today. We mustn't tarry. It's so quaint. And the more doves that I've eaten over the years, I'm totally cool with it, especially if you're getting a limit or something. Yeah, just breast them all out, and you can have like a good grill session then like that. But man, when it's just you, or you have less than a limit or something, I really like doing whole bird like that. I think I mentioned before on the podcast, I love spatchcocking those birds. It's great.
Yeah.
Like it's really nice because you keep the skin on. Like a lot of people don't. It's like to me, it's almost like criminal to skin a bird sometimes if you have the option not to, because the skin is flavorful. So, pluck it, then gut it, get the, all the appendages off and whatnot, and then just cut it right down up the breastbone, basically. Mm-hmm. And then you get two halves, and you just put those both halves on the grill or put them on the griddle or something.
You also cut it down the backbone.
Yeah, cut it on the backbone too. So you can't just have one. But yeah, you cook both sides real quick. You just do salt and pepper and butter or oil or something like that. It's fantastic, man. There's so much meat on there. That's really become my preferred way. But I can also see if you've got 30 birds, that's labor intensive. I get it.
I don't know. I don't have anything else to do.
That's true.
I'll sit there and pluck 30 birds.
Yeah. All right. Fair enough. Yeah. And honestly, if you need help with that, I'm just big enough of a nerd to enjoy let's go pluck some birds together.
Let's drink some beer and pluck some birds. What else are you doing with your time?
That's true.
I put a video on the Instagram of me plucking, here, let's pluck a dove. And somebody was like, no, but I ain't got time for that. I'm like, okay. What's got you so busy, sir?
You're right.
That you don't have time to pluck some doves.
And the implication there is you do have time to breast 15 out, but you don't have the additional 7 minutes.
Cut in half and seed jalapenos. Put that in the jalapeno with a spoon of cream cheese wrapped in bacon. By then, you could have plucked the bird.
Right. So maybe what people are meaning to say is, I'm too lazy to do that.
Maybe.
I got to move my hands 15 more times to make that happen. That seems exhausting.
And they have they have surprisingly more feathers than I thought they would.
Yeah,
there's a lot.
Almost any bird does, because we're just used to seeing picture of bird. There's all the feathers, but that's the top layer.
Right.
That's not the layer that's keeping them warm. That's the layer that's taking care of aerodynamics and the coat, and the colors, and everything. There's a lot going on in those
Which is fascinating, I think. Yeah. I think that's another part of the process. And I think if you're just, ripping off the breast skin and tearing out the breasts and then chucking the rest, I don't think that you have as much appreciation for what happened and what you did and what that is. You take the time to pluck a bird, you're really going to appreciate it that much more. And we've talked about that so much when you're processing your own game.
Yep.
Right? Get as much of it as you can, and you'll appreciate it so much more.
Yeah, it's all about the preach.
It's all about the preach.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that just will, chuck the whitetail in the back of the truck and take it to the processor and give me the back straps, and that's it.
Yeah.
Make some sausage out of the rest. I get it. And if I'm in a rush, that I'm not saying I won't do that, but that's not going to be my first choice. The other thing too with doves, which I found really interesting, was if you take the time to pluck them and take them apart. You got them, you actually see them without the feathers. You can actually get a good idea of what the damage your shot does. Mm-hmm. You can get a better idea of how is this load that I'm using? Is it penetrating? Is it blasting right through them? Is it sitting inside the meat? What does it look like? My average shot. How many pieces of shot am I getting into?
Yeah.
And getting into that dove. And I found that pretty fascinating. That's one of the things that's kind of led me to start messing around with chokes and stuff. What?
Lead.
Oh, come on. God. Why do you have to ruin good things?
Every single episode.
We're pretty much set on a good dad joke or pun for every single episode.
Yeah.
What people don't realize is that Luke actually writes all these out. He writes out every possibility.
Yep.
On a little notepad. Mm-hmm. And
got it right here.
He thinks of all the words that could come up, and he pre-writes his puns. He's sort of a pungineer, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
He just likes to see every eventuality. It's it's kind of like being in the Matrix, except lame.
Right. Yeah. Not nearly as cool.
Not cool.
I do still wear the leather duster, though.
Well, yeah, especially in the writing process. That's kind of gets the juices flowing a little bit. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I know pun fu.
God, man. See, I feel like there's just another processor in your brain. You were having a normal conversation up front, But in the back of your head, there was like a pun engine that was just like putting that one together.
That's really what most of my brain is doing most of the time, is looking for an opportunity for a bad joke.
That makes actually a lot of sense now.
Right?
I'm
Like
thinking
so
about
much
it.
stuff is clear. Like when you look back on our 18-year relationship, like, oh, that makes so much sense now.
He was just thinking about the pun the whole time.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that the weather changes next week.
Oh my God, please.
We look like we're getting a drop in temperature, which means it's going to be like 79 to 82, which still isn't, it's wintry for us, but still
Yeah.
isn't super dove happy. But yeah, man, I miss that. I miss that sky full of birds to shoot at. It's
Well, at this point, we're a week away from bow season opening.
I know, right?
So I want
my
this
priority-
rain to quit and the weather to cool off, so these deer will come out in the daylight.
Yeah, so right now on my trail cam, I don't know, yours is a lot of nocturnal activity. Mine's a pretty decent amount. They're coming at odd times, and I really tried to change my feeder timing so I can try to train them a little bit. So I'm trying something right now where obviously I have them coming out right around dawn. I want them coming out right around the time there's light. So I'm putting the feeder to go off right at sunrise.
Okay.
So they'll hear it. The time that it takes them to get there, we'll have some light. They'll get as much time as possible. Nothing throughout the middle of the day. And then I want them to, I'm going to do the same thing at sunset. I'm going to set it probably, I think I've got like 30, 45 minutes before sunset, something like that, to give them some time. So then I have the additional 30 minutes after sunset. So I've
Right.
got like at least a full hour and a half of time to see them. But I also set one right before sunset. So my thinking there is I want them to start thinking in these last couple weeks that there's a feeding bonanza if they stick around at night. Because
Yeah.
I'm more likely going to be hunting at night. That's just the way my schedule's working out right now. I'm more likely
Right.
going to be there in the evening. So I want them to kind of think like, last time I was here, I was eating and that thing went off and then more corn showed up. It spooked me off, but then more corn showed up. So the idea that there may be more action in the evening. I'm going to go for that. We're going to see how that works. It could be...
Sure.
Could be a little insane, but I've got like 4 programming slots in that feeder. I've got to use 3 of them to feel cool.
Might as well.
Yeah, might as well. So, but yeah, you're getting a lot of nocturnal activity still because of the weather.
So much, yeah. I've started doing some reading, some more reading about how you get them out during the day. And it's like, well, you can't. If they're not coming out during the day where you are,
Yeah.
that means that they're just not going through there at that time of day.
Right. Question 1, are you God?
Right. Basically, they have their bedding spot, right? They get up from that bedding spot. They will leave. They'll, I just read this article that says they'll eat 5 times a day, right? Twice at their bedding spot, once on kind of their afternoon walk, and then twice at night. And so what I'm seeing are those 2 times at night.
You're the spot for them
I
right
think
now.
I'm the spot because I will catch the same deer at midnight and then again at 3,
Yeah.
or whatever. So it's possible that I'm just in the traveling area.
Yeah.
And,
but as temperature drops, what you're going to get is the nights are going to be so cold that
Right.
they're going to want to just bed down.
Yeah.
That's what you're hoping for. And so at the spots I've been, that's where I've seen is why I end up taking a lot of shots very close to dark a lot of times, especially closer to warmer weather, early season, is because I think they're just shifting their schedule up so they get the last little bit of sunlight and warmth. And so I'm sure that's what you're hoping for, is that eventually they're like, well, damn it, it's too cold. Let's just go to the spot now and get some corn.
Yeah, well, that's the thing is that with it opening next week, I'm kind of in this space where right now there's all these bucks, right? The rut will hit mid-November probably. At that point, there will be one buck who will most likely not come out unless he's just being super careless in the rut.
Right. King Dingling is going to drive everybody else
He'll
out.
drive everybody else out. So what I have to have happen is for the temperature to drop enough that all those bucks are still around
Yeah.
before he pushes everybody out. And I just don't know if that's going to happen or not.
Well, that's the part we don't get to be in control of, unfortunately. And that's kind of the struggle of ambush hunting, too, is that you're subject to a lot of factors in a static place that you're not in control of. It's not like a spot and stalk or not like a still hunt where you can make changes on the fly. It's like you're picked.
Yeah, it's not like I have 500 wooded acres where I have cameras all over and I can start
patterning and stuff.
Yeah,
now.
I can't do that. I have pretty much one spot that they have to come to, which they are coming to.
Sure.
It just got to get them to come there during the day.
So I'm getting a lot of does and fawns on my camera. Early on, I had a couple of young bucks that were just kind of rolling around in a couple. They roll around in a pair. They're small guys. They're probably a year old, year and a half. They were probably a year and a half. So not anything worth writing home about. But I'm getting a lot of does and fawns. And where I'm hunting, like I've mentioned before, at Lake Georgetown, my primary spot is I got to take a doe first. And they actually just sent an email saying you got to take 2 now.
What?
Because their management permits were so lopsided that I think they had something like 50 buck permits and something like 250 doe. So they're obviously like Texas Park and Wildlife is saying like, hey, we got to manage the does a little faster in this area. So
sounds like they should have given out some more permits.
No, that's what kind of ridiculous. What kind of ridiculous proposition?
Sour grapes.
I don't know where you'd go, by the way.
Yeah,
but,
that's true too.
Yeah, you'd have to just sit out in the middle of the water and shoot from. Shoot from. Nobody says you can't. Actually, the borders say you can't, but it'd still be a lot cooler if you shot into the hunting area. But yeah, I'm seeing a lot of that, and that's fine because I definitely want to take a doe. What I'm trying to find is I want to find the bigger mature girl. There's one that I've seen so far, but are you going to take a doe if you get the opportunity out there, or are you just buck fever all the way?
Oh man,
archery season.
Yeah, I've preached that it's meat in the freezer, but golly, there's a couple of boys on that camera that I just would really love to get.
Yeah.
I think early season I'm gonna go for bucks, hoping that they're not pushed out yet.
Yeah.
I think the opportunity will be there later in the season. Plus, we get that an additional 2 weeks of special late with does and spikes. So I feel like there's enough opportunity once it gets cold and later in the season, and that's when I think I can work up some invites to some buddies' places and stuff like that to get some does. So I think early season, archery season, I'm going to be really focused on trying to get a buck, trying to get a good sized buck.
Yeah, why not, right? I think just because of my primary hunting spot being that, I'm going to take what I can get, honestly.
Right.
But I think, honestly, you say that, but I wonder what's going to happen if you see a big 2.5-year-old, 3.5-year-old doe that's big and thick walk through the sights after a couple of really unsuccessful days.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the test. It's like, do you really mean it?
I mean, if a freezer filler comes by, or what's that on one of those hunting shows, that guy calls him a freezer queen.
Freezer queen.
If a freezer queen comes by, then that's going to be hard to pass up.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
But I think primarily, previously I would have if it's shootable, let's shoot it, so I can get the meat in the freezer. Right. I think early season I'm going to be a little more selective.
Yeah.
And then if I've still got tags to fill as it gets cold and season drags on, then it's like, all right, let's just get meat in the freezer.
So it's like being at the bar at 11 o'clock. It's like if you're single at a bar, you're scanning you can be way more selective at 11:30.
Right.
As midnight rolls around, it's like, all right, well, maybe I'll take an older doe. Maybe an older doe too. And then when 1:55 comes around, it's like, yeah, anybody that comes into the sites.
Yeah, anybody legal. Let's go.
And there it is. All right, y'all. We'll talk to you next time.
Bye.
Bye.